Hello. Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you doing, sir?
Let me. Is there?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, 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 yes. I think there's a way I should be able to change my background. Cause see,
Yeah, it's already 5 o'clock. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening from different part of the world. So you are welcome to the Hotspot International Scholarship Forum weekly mini webinar series. I'm Akinwumi Bib. So I'm going to be the moderator for today's program. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, sir. So our topic for today's weekly mini webinar series one is Bioinformatician, the need in Africa. Informaticians, the need in Africa. So this is the outline of the program. So it is just a 1 hour program. We are going to have brief introduction about the guest speaker. That's for 5 minutes. Lecture from the guest speaker. And the last part is going to be the questions and answer section. So I just want to read a brief introduction about the guest speaker. So our guest speaker for today is Ashraf Akintola Akintayo. So Mr. Ashraf Akintola Akintayo is an entrepreneur, a researcher, an author, a poet, and a public speaker. He is a graduate student at Kyungpook National University, Daegu in South Korea. Mr. Ashraf Akintola is the founder and CEO of an impact development company with the mandate of leading a generation of impact, prosperity, and sustainability among Africans in the area of bioinformatics, data science, health education, media, and publicity. Ashraf is highly regarded among peers and associates as a leading creative with great potential to lead sustainable change. Since December 2019, he has served as the campus director for the Hult Prize, the world's biggest engine for the launch of for goods for profit startup emerging from the university, and a movement for reflecting and acting on the most sustainable solution to the world's greatest at Kyungpook National University (KNU), Daegu, South Korea. He has led colleagues to conduct free online training and courses in bioinformatics for beginner and mid-level mastery in bioinformatics, such as genomics, transcriptomics, and epigenetics. He has the ambition and global to educate 1 million researchers, students, and enthusiasts in bioinformatics skills by the end of 2022 to prepare against pandemics such as COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. This is just a brief profile of our guest speaker, Ashraf Akintola Akintayo. So thanks for listening. I'm Akin Mishala Abib once again. Please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hotspot HISF. So thanks for listening. So the guest speaker is going to take over from here.
Thank you so much,
Can you hear
sir.
me, sir?
Yes.
Welcome.
Okay, let me try and share my screen. Okay.
So go ahead and share it, sir.
Okay. I think it should be visible now.
Yeah, I think we can see the screen, but we can't see the slide yet.
Okay, 1 second. Really? Let me.
So we can see ourselves. Okay, yeah.
I think there's an issue. Okay, let me quickly rectify that. Let me stop sharing first and then rectify.
All right.
Sorry for the delay. I didn't know this could be an issue. Anyways, as I'm doing that, let me quickly do a brief introduction. My name is Akintola Ashraf. I think we are this is an international gathering. So there used to be an issue with pronunciation of names. So my surname is Akintola, Akin Otoola. And in the meaning, it means being brave is enough in wealth. So, and my first name is Ashraf, and I'm happy to be here. It is my honor to be. I'm so much uh, excited to be in the midst of scholars here present, and I'm so much happy to be and excited to be here presenting on the topic that I'm very much passionate about, which is the bioinformatics in Africa, the need for Africans, the need for African researchers, students, or even enthusiasts to be up to date regarding bioinformatics in the continent. So today, God willing, I'll be taking us through some of the topics as the agenda of today's topic. I will cover why Africans need to be much more involved in bioinformatics. Now I should be able to share my screen without any problem, hopefully. So I was using another software and I was prevented from sharing the screen by another software, by that software.
All right.
So
Yeah,
here,
it's fine now. Yeah, we can see the screen now.
yes, thank you so much. So now the topic, bioinformaticians, the need in Africa. So our topic within the few minutes I've been given to talk about the topic, I will cut across the need. I will tell us about a story that we all will know or remember about. I will explain why and how Africans are not affected by that story I'm going to talk about. And then what is the definition of bioinformatics, the extent, the need, the why. So why do we have to have bioinformaticians in Africa? And also, what is the role my company, which is NOBLEKINMAT Ltd, what role are we playing to better the status of bioinformaticians or bioinformatics in Africa? So that has been that will be the short um, uh, uh, topics I'm going to talk about within this theme. Now, our focus here is to understand where we are as a continent and how bioinformatics would make a difference. So, and here is the agenda. So, first we'll talk about the story, and the story I titled it Bioinformatics Paid the Ransom. So, who held us hostage? What held us hostage? And how are we even, and how much do we have to pay for the ransom for the hostage that we've been taking about? The second part of it, we all know that song, Samina Mina Waka Waka. It's time for Africa. Why Africa? What happened to Africa? And why is Africa so important at this particular point in time? So the third part is what and who is bioinformatics, or who is a bioinformatician. And the fourth part is Africa and how NOBLEKINMAT is trying to save the day. So let us begin. So I'll begin this part by the story, which is we all know this image. This image will bring us, it will bring a lot of memories. And as much as it is a very good memory for some, it is a very, very bad memory for others. COVID-19, God used it as a monster that has held us hostage. It held the whole world. It is presently holding us hostage because the world has not been able to recover from the shock of COVID-19. We never believed that a pandemic or a disease or a virus would hold more than 7 billion people hostage across the whole world. So it is a very, very surprising thing that no one was prepared for. Although there have been warning by several people with foresight, even agencies, about the dangers of infectious diseases as a whole, as mankind, anything that is dealing with related to infectious disease, it's always portend a danger, a very, very big danger for every one of us. Because once a disease is infectious, no one is safe. Everyone is a potential target. So that is why the World Health Organization and especially Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, especially Bill Gates, we all know his efforts in the area of infectious disease have been crying out about the dangers of infectious disease. The issue of Ebola that happened, that even some people even died as a result of the residual fear of Ebola. Some people in Africa or in Nigeria in particular went ahead and started bathing with salt. That caused a lot of issues. Some even drank salt. We all know the drama that played out during the era of Ebola. So infectious disease like malaria, like tuberculosis, like HIV and AIDS have always been an issue. But we have a solution, but Africa is lagging behind. And one of the reasons why Africa has always been an hotspot of these particular issues with infectious disease is because of our climate, one, and because of our level of exposure to modern day science. So if the world is 10 years have moved ahead, Africa will just be coming back and behind, crawling and crawling and crawling behind the world. So this has been the serious case in for so long in Africa. So the issue of infectious disease will now, the impact it has on the whole world in general, it has always been a major concern. We are lagging behind in the educational part, research facility. It is non in the regard. It's very very. There are low level of research facilities. There are also low level of experts. We'll have to import some people to come and do the research for us. So that has been a major problem, especially regarding infectious disease. Now, coming back to the topic, which is COVID-19, the monster that has held us hostage. We all know that the economy of the world was disrupted, the social well-being was affected, and more than that, a lot of people before COVID-19, the United Nations, the World Bank, the people in charge of monitoring the level of poverty. We all know the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. We had the Millennium Development Goals. After Millennium Development, we had the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. The way we moved from MDGs to SDGs was because the MDGs, Millennium Development Goals, has gotten to a level of success in which one of the main aims of MDG is to alleviate poverty. So now we move on to the Sustainable Development Goals. How can we sustain this development? By the United Nations. But unfortunately, the world is just recovering from abject. A lot of people were in poverty, abject poverty. A lot of interventions were introduced. People were started getting empowered, and then we're moving out of poverty. But we never expected COVID-19 to be what it was. Now COVID-19 came. A lot of people now, the journey of 10 years, 15 years that the world has been struggling to achieve, COVID-19 brought everyone back, even worse than where we were before. So a lot of people fell back into poverty. However, more than about 900 million people are expected to be malnourished by the end of the year, according to WHO. Families have been shattered. We've heard a lot of stories about the impact of COVID-19 on a lot of families. Dreams have been destroyed. We've heard of people who, after laboring for so long, and it got to a point that maybe they had to travel to achieve that goal, maybe on a scholarship, they got a job, but it was when they got that, some even have not even moved from where they were to where they are going before when COVID-19 came, and the whole world has to shut their borders. Each country started shutting the borders. We knew the impact of COVID-19. We are still recovering from the impact. Even we are not even sure that we know that COVID-19 is here to stay, according to the CDC, United States CDC, that they told the world that just forget about it. COVID-19 is here to stay. For those who don't know, people are still dying from COVID. COVID is still spreading rapidly. So this has been a major issue, especially regarding to infectious disease. So these are stories that we've known about, we've related to. We know the impact of things like COVID-19. And the reason why COVID-19 was that popular was because the effect was immediately felt. For example, when people ask about what is the impact of malaria, wow, you'll be shocked and surprised at the way malaria has killed a lot of people more than any disease. Malaria has killed more people more than any other disease. It is one, and that is why they refer to mosquito as the most dangerous animal in the world, because mosquitoes have killed a lot of people more than people can even imagine that. Wow. Like recently, before, like a couple of years back, about 600,000 people die each year. No disease has claimed 600,000 lives. Now it has reduced to about 250,000 lives per year. But yet, the scourge of malaria is still there. But the reason why people felt this COVID-19 scourge was because the transmission rate was very fast, the impact was immediately felt, and a lot of things involved with COVID-19 are there. you have to, for example, if you have someone who has malaria with you, you can shake, you can hug, you can eat with that person, you can sleep with that person, and nothing would happen to you. But COVID-19, that is different. So the transmission rate is very fast, and people felt it differently. So that is why COVID-19 has been a golden boy in terms of infectious diseases. And the response that the world gave to COVID-19 was different to the response the world gave to malaria and other diseases. If time permits, I'm still going to hint upon the fact that the way we responded and the way the priority was set for COVID-19 was different to the way the priority was set for other infectious diseases that are debilitating and very popular in Africa. One of such is malaria, tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, sickle cell anemia. So these are diseases that are very, very popular in Africa, but because the whole world are not feeling the pains that Africa is feeling, so they felt it's not a potential, there is little or no interest regarding finding a therapeutic cure to all these diseases. Imagine if Ebola is popular in the United States of America. Imagine if Ebola is popular in UK. Imagine if Ebola is what is spreading around in Australia or New Zealand or any other European or these other countries apart from Africa. You would have seen that they would have come up with cures because they have the facilities, they have the research expertise, they have the wherewithal, they have the fund to carry out impactful research to find solutions, lasting solutions to these infectious diseases. Now, moving on gradually, I want to quickly hint on the fact that before COVID-19, as people are crying, a lot of people are dying, families are being shattered, dreams are being scattered, everything, we are not even sure of what's next. Everybody indoors, isolated, borders closed. But there are some groups of people that are benefiting immensely from that pandemic. And that group of people are the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies, it's a pity I don't have some of the data here, but among the Fortune 500 companies, maybe little do we know that even some of the Fortune 500 companies, the pharmaceutical companies presently are even more, they are worth more than companies that we know like Facebook or Apple or Microsoft, because COVID-19 has shone a brighter light on the role these pharmaceutical companies play on the human livelihood. If everybody is sick, nobody would have time to go and say you want to go and do Facebook now or buy Apple or be a Microsoft expert or anything. But that is to show us that health is wealth. Now, before COVID-19, the pharmaceutical industry, yes, they are still performing very good. But when COVID-19 came, it shot up like it their profits, their income began rising astronomically, as you can see in this picture. Now, and the biggest beneficiary is the Pfizer. Now, if you from this first graph, as you can see here, you can see that the most popular vaccine companies are the ones that have the highest number of income. We know that people, from what I've seen so far, people prefer Pfizer vaccine for among other vaccine candidates. People prefer Moderna. People prefer Johnson and Johnson than. I think Johnson and Johnson should be it used to be the last level of the preference for vaccine. But what I want to point out here is that the income, the profits of these pharmaceutical companies started rising astronomically when COVID-19 came. Why? You would ask yourself why? Because these companies invested so much money. They invested so much money in research, R&D, research and development of candidate drugs, on vaccine candidates, on ways in which to look for a cure for this particular debilitating disease that's causing a lot of mortality. So that is why they are climbing up astronomically. In the second part, you can see for Pfizer, you can see the annual revenue since 2016. It was stable, but from 2020 to 2021, you can see a rapid, almost 100% rise in the amount of income that they got. And then in 2022, it even increased further. So this is to show us that these pharmaceutical industries are the new gold mine. I would want us to also look and look for how the pharmaceutical industry are doing among the Fortune 500 companies. It's an interesting search, and you would so much be enlightened more about what I am talking about. Now, this also shows the net profit and the top five pharmaceutical companies in the world. Pfizer is the best of them all, and we have down to GSK. There is a company I want to talk about. This Roche is number 5. Roche is number 5. What Roche is mostly known for is their diagnostic, and they sell lab materials. Because when you are talking about COVID-19 or any other thing relating to infectious disease, you need laboratory apparatus to carry out research to find out, maybe to find out or discover or look for to sequence these particular diseases. So Roche is one of the notable companies that diagnose and that produce laboratory materials. Just that is, by the way, to show us how important this area of infectious disease has become. Now, what was the role of bioinformaticians in the whole when the whole world was running helter skelter? What role did bioinformatics play? Now, bioinformatics, which I'm going to define what it is in the next slide, there is an area of bioinformatics that we call immunoinformatics. So, which is the bioinformatics approach to immunology, and it involves the analysis of complete information of an organism's genes and proteins that take part in mounting immune responses. For those who are not in biology, I know you might have come across these terms of when they say immune, when you say boost your immune system, you have to eat this so that you can boost your immune system. Yes. So these immune responses, this immune system or immune responses are being carried out by the proteins and genes in our body. Now, the area of bioinformatics that deals with studying this immunomics is called immunoinformatics. So it is a bioinformatics approach to immunology that involves analysis of complete information of organisms, genes, and proteins. So, and when we are able to carry out or look for all the information about the genes and proteins of a particular organism's cells or proteins, so then we will now be able to study that how are we going to respond to this particular virus that invade this body. So we will now look for ways to counter the effect of the virus. So that is an area of bioinformatics that talks about how to wage war against a particular infectious disease, especially viral diseases like COVID. So that is the role. I know by now, without even much ado, it is through this method that the world was able to come up with a vaccine candidate to treat COVID-19. Without that, we will still be grappling with staying indoors, isolating, closing borders, and the world will still be at a standstill without the help of this. Now, for scientists or those who are in the biology aspects amongst us, so now, and this is also a layman way of showing the rule or the routes in which these processes pass through. Now, first, you have an individual with COVID-19 is coughing, having headache, general body weakness, or someone immune system has broken down. Now, we'll take some part of the body fluid of that individual. We isolate and we sort out the plasma cells. We look for COVID-19 antibody using antigens and different ways. And then from there, we sequence. And then using bioinformatics or computational biology tools, we discover new information on complex COVID-19 data sets. Now, on this part, I know we would have heard of different strains, different variants of COVID-19. Before we have Alpha, Beta, we have Omicron, we have Delta strains. Now, these strains, it has been discovered that each of these strains, I wouldn't want to go into details what we mean by strains. Okay, let me put it this way. Let's say you have a apple. So from that apple, you have red apple, green apple, blue apple, white apple. Let's say, assuming you have different types of colors of apple. But you discover that among the apples, that the blue or the red is the sweetest among them. Now, this information of making the red sweeter than the other forms of apple is contained in the genomic makeup of the apple. Now, bringing that back to COVID-19, when we have different types of COVID-19 variants, we have Omicron, Delta, Alpha, Beta, different types of variants. Now, it is through bioinformatics or bioinformatics tools that will discover these variants. It's not about just sequencing the virus, the viral genomic component of the virus, but we'll use these bioinformatics tools to analyze which of these variants is present in this particular individual. Now, from this way we know that, oh, some variants, especially the Omicron, is more dangerous than other variants. Why? How did we know that? It is through bioinformatic analysis. Through these tools, we were able to discover that these are the most, and why are they more dangerous than the other variants. So from there, we move on to the structure-based analysis to create a database of potential vaccine antigen candidates for COVID-19. This can be done through machine learning or artificial intelligence. So I am not sure I'm going to get to that, but an aspect that one thing about bioinformatics that is very interesting is that there is an influx of interdisciplinary inputs in the area of bioinformatics. You don't need to be a biology student or microbiology or biotechnology or biochemistry student before you become a bioinformatician. There are lots of areas in which you can come into bioinformatics, and I'm going to show that as we move on along the presentation. So from this prediction, we are able to come up with candidates for target gene sequencing, and we come up with candidates for the vaccine to counter COVID-19. So this is, as it is applicable for COVID-19, it is also applicable for other diseases too. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have malaria vaccine. A malaria vaccine has been discovered, or has been brought up, sort of. So this malaria vaccine is present, and it is now being used gradually to counter the effect of malaria. This class or this session is not about malaria. I would have gone down to the impact of malaria that because we are used to malaria in the sub-Saharan African area, so we are not is it malaria, it will go. People are dying, a lot of people are dying, millions have been affected by the impacts of malaria across Africa and across the whole world. Now, this is just also a simple breakdown of how we come up with a vaccine. So first, we sequence the viral and host genome. We select the vaccine targets based on, I should put that in quotes, based on bioinformatic analysis. Without the bioinformatic analysis, selecting a vaccine target is not going to be possible. We clone the vaccine target, we express and purify the vaccine target, we work on mice to see if it's going to work on them, we screen immune sera from the antiviral activity, and then we conduct clinical trials on human. So that is basically the process. Now, moving to, some people would ask that why aren't Africans affected the way other regions of the world were affected by COVID-19? So it is a very, very good question. Sometimes you think that People are dying in Europe as if they are chicken or broilers. People are dying on the streets. People are dying in South America. People are dying in Asia. Why is it not in Africa? Even though COVID-19 got to Africa around February, it started from Egypt. I think February 20 something in 2020. Even though COVID-19 started in November, December 2019. So, but in Africa, it got to Africa around February. It started from Egypt, moved down, moved down, moved down. It jumped Nigeria. No, it jumps to, I think, South Africa, came back to Nigeria. It was just moving around as if it's an airline moving around and jumping, and as we have it now. So there are different data that came up along the number of recorded deaths in Africa, but this is a old data. It's not updated, but the death record recorded in Africa is very infinitesimal compared to other parts of the world. We know that the highest number of deaths happened in India. So millions died. A lot of people died in India. A lot of people died in South America. A lot of people died in America itself. A lot of people died in Italy, France, United Kingdom. So, but why? Why is it that in Africa the number of deaths is very little, despite the fact that we are far behind in terms of technology, we are far behind in terms of health facilities, we are far behind in terms of expertise for to cure diseases and the likes. So why? Why is it that Africa is not that affected? Now, one of the reasons is that, as cited by WHO, is that one, there is a quick action. Two, there is public support. Three, young population. Four is favorable climate. And I put it that we all know that that's not all. That's just a scientific reason. We all know that when we talk about the analysis of why Africans are not affected by this, it was said, it was attributed to one of the notable players in infectious disease, curbing infectious disease in the world, that with the way COVID-19 is going, Africa will become a graveyard. To become a graveyard, because they never believed, the world never believed that Africa would not be affected so much with the way with COVID-19 the way it is. So why? So I now ask that question that we all know that that's not real, that's not true. But the reason why is that we'll now ask ourselves that why is it that in Africa was also affected more with Ebola, Lassa fever, Zika, and other viruses, sickle cell, malaria, tuberculosis, and many others. And why not in other part of the world? Because, and now if we look at it, all these other diseases are not, they do not have a cure presently. But within 1 year, we came up with a vaccine candidate for COVID-19, which is very unusual. So that shows that when it comes to saving the world, or when it comes to infectious disease, those who are affected, those who are technologically advanced, have more advantage to find solution to their problem than those who do not. And Africa is far behind. And that is why we as Africans need to come up with the skill set to curb upcoming or future incidents of infectious disease, because we shouldn't deceive ourselves. Infectious disease would always be coming up, and if we did not prepare against that, we would have ourselves to blame. Ladies and gentlemen, Lassa fever is still a scourge in Nigeria. Ebola is still a scourge in Congo. So we are still facing that problem. COVID-19 just came to douse that tension. There is also a pandemic of tuberculosis. Nigeria is one of the hotspots of tuberculosis in the world, alongside Pakistan, India, and other parts of the world, especially in Asia. But Nigeria and some other parts of the country, Africa, are also hotspots of tuberculosis. They are hotspots of other tuberculosis, HIV, and AIDS. So the disease, all these diseases are still here to stay. Now, moving to the topic itself, what is the definition of bioinformatics? What is Who is a bioinformatician? So from this figure, you can see that bioinformatics stays in the middle of biology, medicine, computer science, math, and physics, and then bioinformatics comes in the middle. There are other charts that shows how bioinformatics is a jack of all trades among other professions. So, but this is just a mini representation. But because medicine also, because this, there is also no agriculture is not still here. But in short, what we are trying to say is that bioinformatics cuts across a lot of endeavors. So I hope that I'm able to get to that in the course of my presentation. But moving it down to the definition, what is bioinformatics? Bioinformatics is the application of tools of computation and analysis to the capture and interpretation of biological data. Simply put, we are using computer tools, computer software, computer applications to understand biological data. What do we mean by that? Before we have what we had now, nobody knew. We all know that science just knew that there is chromosome. For those who did biology in secondary school, you know Gregor Mendel, like okay, when this X and Y chromosome, this and that. But technology advanced to a point in which we were able to sequence. And what do we mean by sequence? It means that we have been able to take a biological part of our body, or from an insect, or from an animal. We now converted that information into computer information that we can work on the computer. So that is basically the meaning. So this is to show us that as this is applicable to any other profession, as the world is moving, we should always be evolving along with the world. With the world was moving from analog to digital age. Now, biology also moved towards digital age with the era of sequencing data. So that means, and the first sequence, or the first biological information that was first sequenced, was insulin. Insulin is very, very important in the issue of treating diabetes. Insulin is part of our secretion of our liver, so it's secretion of our bile, and it is used to convert glucose to glucagon. It's been long we did biology. So from glucose to glucagon, and then convert from when there is too much glucose in your body, it's converted to a form that the body can store. Now, the first sequence that was done, or the first biological component that was sequenced, that was converted from biology to computer information, is insulin. So this insulin, the protein, insulin is a protein, it was converted and was sequenced. So, and this sequence was done, and then from there, biology started, sequencing processes started coming up. Now, the conversion of these biological data to computer data for computational analysis led to a lot of work in finding a cure to diseases that affect a particular part of our body. So we started having more information about our genomic makeup. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the full genome, the map, let me just say map, the map of human being, the full map of a human being has now been converted into a computational form, whereby we can say that from we have about 2.5 billion base pairs of sequence of the human genome, our whole genome. We can map, we've been able to map our whole genome, and scientists discover is about 3 billion base pairs. And what does that mean? 3 billion ACG letters, like ACTG, 3 billion of such is what we've been able to map our genome so far. Now, what does this mapping mean? Unfortunately, I couldn't add that to the presentation because it's a little bit off the topic now, but I will try to discuss that. So what does this mapping, what does it mean? it means that we've been able to discover that, oh, from the, let's say from range 200 to range 500, that particular that particular map is what encodes, it's what has the information about, let's say for example, our skin color. That, let's say for example, from point 200 to point 500, it contains information about our skin color. That is why whenever we sequence the genome of Mr. A, we sequence the genome of Mr. B, sequence the genome of Mr. C. If we want to compare the skin color, we want to know, we don't even know them. We've never seen them before. We've never come across them before. We don't know how they look like. We don't know how they speak. From this information, we can know that, oh, Mr. A is an African, Mr. B is a Caucasian, Mr. C is an Asian, Mr. D is, so this is what we call mapping. So we've been able to do that with the advances in technology, and bioinformatics is one of the tools that is being used in making this possible. We all know, for those who do not know, there is what we call personalized medicine. And this personalized medicine means that they will just sequence your genome. They will look, it's like in the African parlance, you would say, in the Yoruba, we will say they look for the Akosejaye, which means they look at the whole history of all your life history. So we have our life history, what our body will do. Even it got to a point that we can predict when someone can die with the way the genomic makeup is being computed. So these are tools. The bioinformatics tools are used to convert these biological data to computer for computational analysis, and this is possible with the use of bioinformatics. So that is why bioinformatics is very, very important. So prospects in the field of bioinformatics includes contributors to functional understanding of the human genome, leading to enhanced discovery of drug targets and individualized therapy. For those who know about this information, there is this popular actress, Angelina Jolie. So she was diagnosed with a particular set of cancer, type of cancer. But this cancer type has not materialized, has not expressed herself it has not expressed itself in our body. But
Wow. I think there was a break in transmission. I think we lost the guest speaker right now.
now
Okay.
I'm back now.
All right.
Sorry for the break in transmission. So what happened to Angelina Jolie was that they were able to sequence and look for what would happen to her through her genomic makeup, and they discovered that she had a particular cancer cell in her body. So they carried out a surgery on her, and they took out the part of our body that is responsible, that has that particular, it's a breast cancer type of cancer. So they took out the part of, because it can claim our life at the end of the day. So these are one of the advances that bioinformatics is bringing to us. Now, these are fields under bioinformatics. We have medical informatics, computational biology, pharmacogenetics, immunoinformatics, proteomics, genomics, pharmacogenomics, chemoinformatics. We have transcriptomics, epigenetics. So it's a wide range of fields. So anybody can be accommodated in the area of bioinformatics. So there is similarity between bioinformatics and data science. I've been wondering that a lot of people do not know the gold mine in bioinformatics, and everybody is rushing towards data science. Meanwhile, there is also an equally lucrative field, which is bioinformatics, that we should also look towards. So unfortunately, I wouldn't want to dabble into that, but I just use that as an a side side. Now, Africa and how NOBLEKINMAT is trying to save the day. Now, this is all what we've been discussing about is just the preamble to the topic itself. So how why do Africans need to be a part of bioinformaticians? Now, there are three major reasons. One, being a bioinformatician, you do not need any resources, any expensive resources like that. All you need is a stable internet, a very good system. That's all. To be a bioinformatician, you do not need, it's not necessary you have a big lab that you'll be doing research, you'll be running around doing this. As a bioinformatician, what you need most presently, as we are talking now, what you need most is a good system, a good computer system, and a stable internet. After that, all you need is to be all you need has finished to be a bioinformatician. But Africans do not know why, and that is the problem that we need to address, and that we are addressing in aspect in our way. So now, as an African, we have a problem regarding AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, Ebola, and I've talked about that earlier on. But there is another problem. One of those problems is that resources, sequences. I talked about sequencing biological information earlier on. Of all the sequencing information that has been deposited into the database, global database, African information is now accounting for about less than 3% of all information. Now, this puts us at a disadvantage. Why? Because I talked about the fact that when they sequence a particular genome, from there they will be able to look for the cure to a particular disease that is affecting that particular person. Now, there is no candidate, there is no sequence of African samples. How then are they going to look for cure to disease that is affecting us? Now, let us take COVID-19, for example. If you look for COVID-19 data, biological data, sequence data on all databases, African samples are very low compared to other samples from across the whole world. Now, it will become a problem if they are now coming with drug candidates to treat African patients, and they do not have a sample to work with. That will become a problem. And the reason why that is a problem because we do not have expertise to go about analyzing this data. That is why Africa needs that. The reason why malaria vaccine took so long to come about, we took so long to come about malaria vaccine is because there are no much expertise. Because the people that are suffering from malaria, they don't even know that they need one bioinformatics to look for the solution to their problems. That is a problem. We do not know what we can do with bioinformatics to solve our problem, to solve infectious diseases like malaria. AIDS is also there. Tuberculosis is also there. Ebola is also there. A host of other diseases are also there that is affecting us. So we do not have this know-how, this expertise. But the solution is that what makes bioinformatics the solution, even better solution, is that you do not need much resources, because every time we always complain, we do not have money in Africa, money to build lab, because even if we build lab, money to buy reagents, money to buy chemicals. But being a bioinformatician, you do not need all those things. All you need is an internet, a good system, and all your expertise to do the analysis. And now to the second part, there is an explosion of data. Like, millions of data are available online on databases that are lying fallow. All they need is how to interpret this data. Like, if you want to talk about cancer data, let's say you're talking about BRCA1 or BRCA2 or P53 genes. All these genes are cancer markers, cancer biological markers that are used to look for the presence of cancer in a particular individual. Now, there are lots of this information online that are free of charge. Like, you make use of this data to come up with solutions, but Nobody, because like nobody's why do I need, like nobody knows the importance. That's the problem. Information over, we have an information overload, but the expertise to carry out or to do this analysis is so infinitesimal. There was a study that was carried out that in Africa we need about 700 million training. 700 million. 700 700 oh sorry, I think 700,000 trainings. That's a mistake. 700,000 training you need to be carried out for Africans to be up to date with the rest of the world in the present year we're having. So that is why my colleagues and I, especially Mr. Abdullah Tunde Aborode and I, we came up with this idea. The idea attributed originally to Mr. Abdullah. So I will start with writing the manuscript. So it's about writing the need for more bioinformaticians for population studies in Africa. And this idea was published in a very reputable journal, Nature. So for researchers, they know the importance, how reputable Nature is among the top 10. We have CNS, Cell, Nature, Science. So if you are if you publish in any of those, you are a big man. So we were able to come, because, and the reason why we were able to come up or get our paper accepted in this particular reputable journal was because the topic is very important, and a little amount of people know about what the importance of bioinformatics, what it holds for the African continent. Now, what are the challenges and what are the way forward? I wouldn't want to go much in depth because I'm running out of time. So what are the challenges? One of the challenges is that we have low number of experts. And how do we solve that low number of experts? Even our universities are not even granting degrees in bioinformatics. Not it's just a handful of universities in Africa that are doing even the subject bioinformatics as a subject, as a course. So low number of universities. So that's a bigger problem. And low number of experts. We can count that with the number of and like at the back of my, like the expertise in bioinformaticians in Africa. Africa as a whole, not even taking our country. So we in Africa, the one of the most advanced countries is South Africa regarding bioinformatics. South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria. I think Kenya is also doing well, and Ghana. No. Ghana is not as up and doing as expected. So we have Tanzania too. So a lot of, like, just a handful of countries are doing well regarding developing their expertise regarding bioinformatician. Now the second part is brain drain. There are different aspects. There are different institutes like H3 Bionet. H3 Bionet is one of the forerunners of bioinformaticians in Africa, promoting that studies of bioinformatics in Africa, graduating bioinformaticians in Africa. But at the end of the day, after completing their training, these experts, they will see that they are just useless in where they find themselves. They are not able to put what they learned into practice. So they seek for better opportunities in Europe, in Africa, in America, in South America, in Asia, and they go. So Africa is still at a disadvantaged position. The part is the resource exploration. Now, people do not know that you do not need much money before you become a bioinformatician. A lot of bioinformatics courses are free online that you just you how would I put I feel like saying it in Yoruba, but that is not the appropriate for this setting. You will swim in the information, you come out again, you will swim, you come out again, and are free of charge. But a lot of people do not know. Then the proper orientation. People do not know that is, even if it is money you are looking for, they are looking for bioinformaticians across the whole world. If it is money, you can. And another good thing about this is that you can work remotely. It's basically like any other tech job that you can do, and you do not need much before you become a bioinformatician. So in our area as NOBLEKINMAT Ltd, so our main goal is to train about more than 1 million bioinformaticians in Africa before the and before the year runs out. We began as early as February, but we've been trying our best. We did one cohort session in February. We did another one between August 1 to August 8, and it was so impactful. And we are thinking of another initiative before the year runs out to prop up the amount of bioinformaticians we have. Presently, we have about 3,000 people that have subscribed to register for our courses, and about in our first cohort, about 120 people were certified from our company for bioinformatics training for beginners. And the last one we had about appreciable about 800 registering and a lot of other people being certified also. So these are one of the efforts, and we are trying our best to come up with ways to educate people, especially across Africa, on the need to be bioinformatically savvy. Thank you so much, and God bless you for listening.
Uh, Thank you very much, Mr. Ashraf Akintola, for this insight lecture. I pray to Almighty God to increase you in knowledge and piety. So he has made justice to the program and also bioinformatics, bioinformatician, the need in African. So we are going to the last part of this section, which is going to be the question and the answer section. So we are live on YouTube. Also, you can call this number via WhatsApp or normal call to ask one or two questions. Also, you can drop your question at the comment section at our YouTube channel. So if you have one or two questions, you can call this number +234 8101 809859 +234 8101 809859. Thank you very much. So before we take one or two questions, Mr. Ashraf, please, are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
So please, I want to ask this question before it goes out of my mind. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please, can you just give us a small link between chemoinformatics and bioinformatics?
Okay. So I think it would be best if I collate all the questions, so that if there are any repetition or if there is anyone I have to combine, so I can be able to take them together.
All right. Okay, let me check through the YouTube channel if there is any question here. Oh, so yes, I'm trying to check.
Okay. So, but why we do that? So, I would like to shed a little bit of light on the chemoinformatics and bioinformatics. So, from the name, you can see there's a similarity between the matics of the two. So, in bioinformatics, we have what we call the omics. We have the genomics, transcriptomics, epigenetics. So, these are areas under bioinformatics that have different specialization. So, in the area of bioinformatics, more I'm more focused on genomics, so which is the part that specializes in the gene makeup, the genomic makeup. So, to the question, the interplay, the relationship, the link between chemoinformatics and bioinformatics. So, from what I understand about chemoinformatics, is like the chemical. When you come up with the chemical structures maybe there is a computer and a computer program that deals with uh, computer science or chemistry that comes up with when you relate it with the computer system or computer algorithm, a chemical structure, you are writing it or bringing it up with a a computer system. It's like bioinformatics, whereby you discuss biological data with a computer program. So in the chemoinformatics, you are describing chemical data with a computer program. So the link in which the two of them will come about is when you are coming up with a drug candidate, a vaccine candidate. For example, when you are talking about molecular docking, so this molecular docking is an area in which you are looking for a way in which a particular drug candidate can treat a particular disease. So you've known the structure, or you've known the how this disease is come about, and you've had the structure, the chemical structure of this particular a particular chemical. So now you now want to see chemically, they call it simulate. You simulate if these two would cancel each other, or if these two work on this other part. So that is an area in which I know chemoinformatics and bioinformatics correlate with each other or link with each other.
All right. So I think we only have one question here. And this question is from Seidu Abdullah Usman. The question goes thus: Do I have to be an excellent programmer before I can become a successful bioinformatician?
You don't need to be an excellent programmer, but if you're an excellent programmer, that's a plus. The way bioinformatics is moving, being a programmer, excellent programmer at that, it would be very, very beneficial for you. For example, as a bioinformatician, you are expected to know about Python or R, which are the most basic thing that you should know about. There are some bioinformaticians that are in charge of writing the software. They are writing software for a particular, they write a particular program for a software to address a particular need. So if you are good in different programming languages, maybe you are good in Java, you are good in C++, or other programming language that are advanced, more advanced than Python and R. So it will be a big benefit for you. So you don't need to be an excellent programmer, in quotes, excellent programmer. So, but you need to know a basic information about programming to be able to at least do a lot of navigate your way and do a lot of analysis in bioinformatics. I'm not an excellent programmer also. So although I'm still not an excellent bioinformatician, I'm still the work in progress too. But that doesn't mean you can't. If you've not been an excellent programmer, uh, is not an impediment for you to sail higher and have meaningful impact in the area of bioinformatics. So I hope that answers that. I think I see another question here. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
This question: Are your program free or attract some charges? More also, how can people register for the next course for the bioinformatics section by your company?
Yes, our programs have been free so far, although we have a paid program. But the two major cohorts that we've had this year, the two are free, and the information is very, very much available on our social media handles. So we'll be launching our website soon, so you can easily access NOBLEKINMAT.com. And if you want to know more about our company, you can search us on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. So, but basically, if you want to get the information about other courses, so you can basically reach out to me personally. So,
All
but
right.
they are free. All most of our courses are free. Even all our courses are free except one that we've had to advertise for advanced studies in bioinformatics.
All right. Thank you very much. So this is already 6:07. So we are going to end this section right now. So Mr. Ashraf Akintola, please, we are very grateful for this insight lecture. I pray may Almighty God help you through your academic journey and may He ease your affair. Thank you very much. So to our listener from different parts of the world, we still remain your noble HISF Hotspot International Scholarship Forum. Please kindly subscribe to this channel. By next week, we are going to have a great lecture on this platform. Thank you very much. Once again, I'm Akinwumi Shalabi. Thank you very much. See you next time.